All right, today we want to talk a little bit about how do inherited IRAs work? And there's a ton of questions here. And the reason? Because the IRS just can't get out of their own way. They are taking something that's super simple, or should be simple, and they've complicated it, of course. And then they've changed their mind along the way. So naturally, we have a lot of questions. So let me give you the 411 on inherited IRAs. So let's imagine you are lucky enough to inherit an IRA. And here are the general rules. So first, here you get a pot of money. Yay! I mean, it's sad because somebody had to die, but now you have this pot of money here, right? It's like I got this bag of money and it's inside either an IRA or a Roth IRA. Now, the rules are, technically a little different on each. So let's start with the Roth IRA because that is the simplest of all of them. So let's imagine you inherit a Roth IRA. You inherit $100,000 in a Roth IRA. Now, the rules are very, very simple here. And here's what it is. 10 years. What you have to do is you have to extract or distribute all of the money out of that Roth IRA within a 10-year time period. Now, here's what is cool with Roth IRAs. There are no required minimum distributions with a Roth ever. All right? No required distributions. And because of that, as you receive this inherited IRA, you do not have to pull any money out until you get to the end of the 10 years. Right? So that's kind of nice. So let's do a little timeline here. So let's imagine that here we are in 2024 and you inherit this IRA. Essentially, you have 10 years before you have to pull out any money. You could just let that money grow for the next 10 years and not pull out a single dime. But here's the fun part. When you make that distribution, 100% of that distribution is tax-free. So that means all the growth. Let's say you inherited $100,000 and 10 years later you take out $200,000 because it grew, it doubled in 10 years. Guess what? You pull that 200 grand out, it's all tax-free. It does not show up on your tax return anywhere. How cool is that? Nowhere does it show up on your tax return. It doesn't affect you at all. It's like winning the lotto, but a tax-free lotto, kind of. So when you have a Roth IRA that you inherit, unless you really need the money, typically letting it ride for the next 10 years, probably not a bad idea. Now, I know what you're thinking to yourself. You're saying, but Mike, what, this 10 years, when does it officially end? Well, you really want to talk to your CPA about this one, but my understanding, this is an area I might be a little bit off on, so check with your CPA. I don't want this, do not take what I'm about to say as gospel, all right? But typically, if the year of death is 2024, then you have 10 years from, let's put it this way, by December 31, 2034, but I believe it's actually 2035. I believe what they do is they say, you've got to wait, your 10-year period starts the year following the year in which there's the date of death or the year in which you receive the money. So if you receive the money this year, I believe the 10 years starts in 2025. But again, don't hold me to that one. I might be a little bit off on that one. That's what CPAs are for, right? Okay, that's the Roth IRA. Now, let's talk a little bit about inheriting a regular IRA or 401k or any of these things so that we can see how the rules are a little different. Here is our same 10-year horizon, right? And here it is, 2024, you inherit the same $100,000. But now it's like a traditional IRA. All right. So now we're talking about a regular old IRA, not a Roth. Or again, this could be probably 401k, 403b. The rules are generally the same. Same 10 years. Same 10 years. And by the way, now that we're talking about this part of it, this is where I'm reasonably certain that the 10-year period will end December 31, 2025. I'm reasonably certain on that. And technically, when you inherit an IRA, this is technically how it all started. I'm going to give you a little history and kind of tell you where we are right now. When the rules were first written, there was nowhere in the rules was it written like, do you have to take out a required minimum distribution each year? That was the question, right? That's not really spelled out in the law. And so if you read the law, it's like, oh, I can just wait my 10 years. I can take out, and again, use our whole, let's say this grows to 200K. I can just pick and choose when I pull it out. I can take it all out at the end. I can take out a little bit each year. Like, I can do anything that I want. That was kind of the idea when this first came out. Now, remember, all distributions are going to be taxable because, again, this money's coming from a IRA or 401k. So anytime you pull money out, you're going to pay tax. So that's how it all started. And then the IRS comes along and we're like, oh, wait a minute. No, we don't like you just deferring 10 years and we're not getting paid. We want you to do an RMD each year. But then, it's the IRS. They can't get out of their own way. They can't keep this simple because there are tables. There are tables for inherited IRAs is the way you have to pull out. And by the way, these are the general rules. If you are a spouse, the rules are different. And just so you know, anyway, this can get even more complicated. I'm trying to keep this pretty simple, but recognize there are more rules than what I'm about to tell you. So then the IRS is like, okay, no, we're going to want RMDs each year. And of course, it takes them like 2 years to figure this out. And then they said, well, if the person you received the money from, if they were old enough to have RMDs, then you're going to have RMDs each year. But if they were younger, maybe you don't. And now here we are. We are 4 years into this law. 4 years. And just recently, the IRS has come out and they said, well, each year, by the way, they've done this. Well, we are going to waive any RMD, any required distribution. If you have an inherited IRA, we're just waiving it. They waived it the first year. They waived it the second year. They waived it the third year. Here we are in year 4. They waived it again. Why did they waive a required distribution? Why did they waive this requirement? Because they can't freaking figure out, what do they really want to do here? They can't figure out the rules. And it's just a mess. So right now, if you have a Roth IRA, the rules are simple. You can wait 10 years, take it out anytime you want. During that 10 years, just have it all out by the end of 10 years, and all the distributions are tax-free. But if you get a regular IRA, so far, it's like flexible. In other words, can I wait the full 10 years before I take it out? We've got a strong maybe right now, with a big question mark, maybe. I can tell you this right now, the current rule is no RMD, but here's what I do want to share at the end of the day. At the end of the day, if you just let this thing sit for 10 years, if the account gets bigger, what's going to happen to your taxes? I mean, think about it. It's worth $100K today if you take it out. If you let it go for 10 years, it's worth $200K 10 years later. What are you going to pay tax on? Well, whatever amount you take out. So, and taxes are likely going to increase in the future. I would tell you, might be worth looking at taking distributions anyway to try to manage taxation on these things. By the way, one last question I always get, and we'll wrap this one up. Hey, Mike, can I convert my inherited IRA, right? Inherited IRA to a Roth IRA or to an inherited Roth IRA. Can I do that? Guess what? The answer is, it is a hard No, you cannot do that, okay? People always ask me that, but you can't do it. So there you go. Those are the rules with inherited IRAs, at least currently. Inherited Roth IRAs are lovely and wonderful, and inherited regular IRAs are kind of, but anyway, I hope you found this helpful. Hey, by the way, with these videos, as always, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you don't want to miss out on all these great videos. And remember, if you're ever wondering, like, how do I know when I have enough money to retire? If you're ever asking yourself that question, just check our website out. Just go to iwannaretirewell.com, or you can just click the link right below, and right there on the homepage is a great little quick video. It's like 3-4 minutes where I share with you a quick and simple, just easy way to figure out how much you need to have saved so you can retire well.